Hello and welcome to Freedom with Marketing. Today we're going to talk about something that I am passionate about and something that I consider to be one of the more important parts of email marketing and any type of sales that you do. And that is the art of segmentation. So in this presentation, I'm going to share with you what exactly is segmentation, why it's so important. We're going to look at 5 different ways that you can segment your list and a bonus one about the 80-20 way to segment your list to maximize your revenue, profitability with the least amount of effort. And we'll finally conclude by showing how you can leverage your email marketing into the context of the Freedom with Marketing framework, which is to increase your income, increase your decentralize to increase your resilience, and to design, build, and achieve freedom in your future, whatever your definition of freedom is. So let's dive in. So let me share with you a quick story. This is a personal story to illustrate the concept of what segmentation actually is. So if you don't know, I like to run ultra marathons, and last year in 2022 I did a 110k ultra marathon in the jungle where I live. It was horrendous, as you'd expect. It was hot, it was humid, it was sticky. Unfortunately, I didn't finish the race. I ran out of time and missed a checkout, a cutoff time in the middle of the night. But I want to just describe to you what it's like running on these wet, muddy, slippy jungle trails that are super steep in the middle of the day in the tropical heat and humidity. You are dying out there. It's so hot. Your heart rate's touching 170, 180 as you're taking tiny baby steps. You go up the hill as fast as you can, which is a steep trail, and you have to take regular breaks to try and cool down because you're starting to get dizzy. You can't push any further because you think you might pass out from heat stroke. It's tough. And then you finally get to the top of this hill, and what do you see at the top? You have a few of the local entrepreneurs that live in the villages. They've carried out their esky filled with ice and filled with cold drinks, and they've set up shop right there on the trail. And what they're doing is they're selling their cold drinks for double the price that you'd buy elsewhere to all the runners. So you come past and you see them selling these cold drinks. What are we going to do? You're going to buy a cold drink no matter what the price is because it's going to cool you down. It's sort of like you're in the middle of sort of like selling water in the desert to someone that's dying of thirst. This is pretty much the situation that you're in, that I'm in, and the rest of the runners were in on this trail. But you buy it, and they're going to run out of cold drinks pretty quickly. And if they wanted to be even more of have more of an entrepreneurial spirit, they'd have something there that would help cool the runners down as well, and charge a small fee for it. And they can charge whatever they want because people are going to buy it. Compare this to a 7-Eleven shop that just sells cold drinks at an inflated price near where I live. Very rarely do I go into that shop and buy their drinks for them double the price of buying it elsewhere. But yet, when I'm on the trail and it's hot, they could sell their drinks for 3 times what the price is at the shop, and I'm going to buy it. The difference is the type of people that you are selling to. Someone who's hot, borderline heat stroke, they need a cold drink, they're running out of energy, they want a cold drink. Someone that's just walking past a 7-Eleven shop where the price of the cold drink is the same as what you'd find on the trail, they'd look at it and think, that's a bit too expensive, I'm just not going to buy it, or I'm going to buy it from someone else. That is essentially segmentation. You want to know who the people are that you're selling to, so you can then craft a better sales message. If you know where people are at, or what their past behavior is, or where they're currently at, you know to present your message and communicate your message and communicate the concepts in a way that they're going to respond to best. That is segmentation. That is the concept of it. So when you look at it in email marketing, it's identifying the right people at the right time that will be receptive to the right message. It allows you to send a slightly nuanced message to different people on your list. Segmenting your list allows you to identify the people who are stumbling up a steep, muddy trail in the middle of the day in the tropics, where they're dying of heat stroke, and the people that have just walking down the street and probably won't buy your drink. It allows you to identify them, and when you can identify them, you know how to sell to them. That is the concept of segmenting. The way that you segment is you would tag people based on their behavior in your autoresponder. I'm not going to get into the exact details of how to do this. Different autoresponders have a different way of doing it, and to be honest with you, I don't know how to do it myself because I'm not very skilled when it comes to the technical side of things, and I just get other people on my team to do it for me. So that is the concept of segmentation. So let's have a look at some different ways that you can segment your list and why you would want to segment it in this particular way. So the first is a basic type of segmentation. This is what I like to do myself. You separate, let's say you have an email list with 10,000 people, 10,000 subscribers. Let's say you sell a library of products. Some of the people on your email list will have bought one product. Some would have bought two products. Some would have bought all your products. Some people would have bought nothing. Is it a good idea to send the same message out to everyone? Yes. In some cases, no. If you were to segment your list based on people that have not bought from you, people that have bought from you once, and people that have bought from you multiple times, you can communicate your message in a slightly different way to each person based on their previous behavior. Now, why is this important? In the sales and marketing space, it's generally considered that someone that has bought from you before is between 10 to 16 times more likely to buy from you again, compared to someone that has not bought from you becoming a first-time customer. So if we assume that this is correct, and I can't tell you who said this to start off with, but it generally makes sense and generally is correct when I've done it with clients, that this tends to be the case when you actually look at the data and you start digging. So if you're selling a new product, who are the best people to sell it to? People that have not bought from you or people that have bought from you? Well, obviously, if someone's 10 to 16 times more likely to buy from you again, it makes more sense to focus your energy to people that are more likely to buy than people who aren't likely to buy. That's the concept behind this. And then repeat buyers are people that have proven, based on their behavior, that they have bought from you multiple times, which makes them even more likely to buy from you compared to someone that has just bought from you once. What I'm trying to say here is, if you segment it in this basic way, you can identify which segment of your list will be more likely to buy from you when you're running a promotion. Why is that important? If you know someone is more likely to buy from you, you can craft your sales message in a nuanced way to take advantage of this. You might want to send more emails to people who are more likely to buy from you than people who are not going to buy from you. It makes sense to allocate your time, energy, effort, and resources to focus on people that are much more likely to buy from you than someone that isn't going to buy from you. That's why you would like to segment your list in that particular way. Just to quickly recap, it is non-buyers, people that have not bought from you in the past; buyers, people that have bought from you in the past; repeat buyers, people that have bought multiple times from you in the past. And just to quickly mention here that if you're sending these emails out, the call to action in these emails can be different. You can optimize the call to action. Say, for example, you have just for number's sake, a $1,000 product. Who is more likely to buy your $1,000 product? Is it a non-buyer? Is it a buyer? Or is it a repeat buyer? Well, probably it's going to be someone that has bought from you in the past or someone that's a repeat buyer. Obviously, some people that have not bought from you in the past will buy it if you have a large enough list. But you'll probably find more people that have bought from you in the past or bought from you multiple times in the past and going to buy it. And the reason is, it kind of makes sense if you think about it, because going and paying $1,000 for something is a big ask for most people. And are you going to spend $1,000 with someone that you don't know, that you don't have no experience with? Or are you going to be more likely to spend that $1,000 if you've already bought their $10 product, you've consumed it, and you've got a result? It's going to, you've consumed some of their paid content before, you've realized that it's not a scam, you've actually applied what they teach, and you've got a result. You're more likely to buy from them again. So with this in mind, if you have your list segmented into non-buyers, the call to action could be to buy your low-priced offer. Your low-priced offer could be a $4.99 book. It could be a $47 video training program. It could be to sign up to your $10 a month membership. And these are the lower barrier of entry to make it easier for someone to say yes to a purchase. And then as soon as they purchase, if you can then get them to consume the content, and the more they consume the content and they get to know you, and the more they apply the content and get results, the more likely they are to buy from you again. This is one reason why, in my opinion, I think a buyer is 10 to 16 times more likely to buy from you compared to someone that is not. So therefore, if you have an email list and 80% of people on your email list have not bought from you, it makes sense to try to get them to buy something small first, an easy purchase, easy decision, convert them into a buyer, and then play the long game, because they're more likely to buy your $1,000 product in the future. And then if you have a list of buyers and non-buyers, you can then craft the call to action to buy your higher priced offer. Now, a quick note on this is you can send the same email if you have it, if you're sending daily emails, especially where it's more general teaching, providing value kind of stuff. You can have the same email, but with a different call to action for the different groups. Okay, let's move on to number 2. You can segment your list based on what they are a prospect for in your business. What do I mean by that? Well, let me give you an example. I've worked with a client in the past, and they have 2 offers. One is a certification, the other is a diploma. The certification is for brand new people who want to get into the industry. They need to get certified in order to teach and in order to do the thing that they're gonna remove that bit if it's possible. Let me start again. So the certification is something that people need first in order to teach the skill. The certification is a basic requirement for the job. The diploma is for people who already have the certification and who already have experience and want to improve their skills. Therefore, in this example, people who are prospects for the certification are different to people who are prospects for the diploma. It does not make sense to sell the diploma, which requires a certification and experience, to people who have not yet got the certification. Likewise, it doesn't make much sense to promote your certification to people who already have the basic qualification and experience. Therefore, it makes sense that you can segment your prospects based on what offer they are most suitable for. And this way, you can craft nuanced messages, and you can craft a specific sales message to the people that are most likely to buy it. You can use this to add clarity, you can remove confusion, and there's a whole bunch of benefits to do that. So if you have multiple offers in your business, and by offer you have high-end premium offers which cost several $1,000s for a service or a coaching spot that you offer, this is probably a good way to do it too. This might not necessarily be worth it if you have a series of lower priced products, and it might not work as well if you are selling physical products. But if you have a high end service, this works best. Now you can combine segmenting your list based on the offer with the basic segmentation discussed in the previous point. So in other words, you can tag a non-buyer who is a prospect for the certification, using the example from before, and a buyer who is a prospect for the certification before. And which of these is more likely to buy their certification? Probably someone that is a buyer. And you can apply that in your business too. How to do this? Identify what your premium offers are, and then identify which people on your list are most suitable for it, and then you can tag them and send the messages afterwards. Now, that's just a process. In practical terms, it's not that easy, because how exactly do you convert people that are on your email list now in and you can categorize them into what product or offer that you have if you haven't done this before? It's a bit tricky. What you can do is you can send out certain messages with a certain call to action, and this call to action would be directly specific and targeted to the group of people. So, using the example from above, that people who want to teach something would need a certification, and people who are already teachers with the certification would be suitable for their diploma. So you would send emails out or a series of content where only people that want to become teachers would click the link, for example, and only people who are existing teachers with experience would click the second link. And then when they click the link, you can put an opt-in, or you can use something to tag them moving forward. That's one way to do it. In theory, it works, but in practice, it doesn't, because not everyone opens the emails. So some people would click the link and you could tag them based on that, but most people probably wouldn't click the link, and then kind of left with certain tags to represent certain prospects. But you've also got a lot of grey area in the middle too. It's just the reality of things. Unless you can implement a system like this right at the start of the journey, as soon as they come into contact with you and your brand, you can then identify which prospect they are and you can tag them accordingly. But even then, it's not foolproof. Just to let you know that segmentation and list tagging is not as easy as it sounds. Number 3. So this is behavior-based segmentation. This could be, for example, you do a workshop, a masterclass, or a webinar, and you send emails out to promote your live workshop. Some people are going to sign up for the workshop. People who sign up for the workshop are either going to, 1, not watch it, 2, show up for the workshop, watch a bit and stop watching, 3, watch the workshop until the end. 3 different behaviors. If you're selling a product after the workshop, you want to know what behavior, I'll put it another way, you want to know how much of your workshop people have watched. Your workshop's going to teach the concepts behind your offer. It's going to provide proof that the offer works, and then you're going to give a pitch at the end that sells the offer. It doesn't make sense to start the offer about the offer and why people should buy to people that didn't watch the workshop to begin with. They signed up, but they didn't watch it because they're not going to understand what you want about. So therefore, when you can tag people based on this, you can then send specific nuanced messages to move them on their journey closer towards what the goal is. So let me just walk you through this, because this is pretty complicated without having a diagram in front of me to show you. And even with a diagram, it doesn't make too much sense. So you're having a workshop. You invite people to attend the workshop. In order to attend the workshop, they need to opt in. Opt in means I'll give you the email address so you can send reminders. So to start off with, you've got 2 groups of people. You have people that have signed up to watch it, and people who have not signed up to watch the workshop. During the workshop, you have the 3 different people mentioned before, which are people have signed up, but they don't watch any of the workshop. In this case, you would send emails later to get people to watch the workshop. The second group is people started watching but didn't finish. You would then send emails afterwards saying, hey, I noticed that you didn't finish the workshop. Is there any reason for this? Here's the replay. Here's some highlights. Here's the things that you missed. Oh, and don't forget, watch until the end, because at some point towards the end, I have this special thing for you. And the third group would be they watched all of the workshop. You would then send emails afterwards to talk about what your offer is at the end and to try to convince people to buy it or to book a call to learn more about it. It doesn't make sense to send these emails promoting your offer to people that haven't watched any of the workshop. You see what I mean? This is where you have these different levels of nuance with the messages that you're communicating based on the different lists and different segmentation. And then if we move back to the start, you have a lot of people that did not sign up to watch the workshop. And therefore, afterwards, you would send emails to this group of people, the people that did not sign up to watch it, to get them to watch the replay. So they have 4 different groups of people, 4 different messages that you would communicate based on their behavior. And that's how you would do behavior-based segmentation and how you would use this to increase your sales. The second type of behavior-based segmentation would be about the content that people have consumed over time. So there are ways that you can tag people based on how many times they click the links in your emails. If you send emails linking to your nurture content, would be podcasts, videos, whatever it is, to teach people the concepts and build likability, trust, authority, etc. People who have consumed more of your content are more likely to buy from you than someone that has not consumed your content. And you can understand this concept with these videos here that I'm recording for you. And that would be that if you watch 100 videos that I've recorded and you buy into my ideas and you like what I talk about and like what I teach, you're more likely to hire my services to help you in your business. If this is the first video that you've ever come across, or if this has been cut into some kind of a short video and you see it, and that's the first exposure you have to me and my company, are you going to sign up to my services? Probably not. The more someone consumes, the more exposure they have to your ideas. They're either going to buy into your ideas and become fans of your brand, or they are not going to like your ideas and they're going to not consume any more content and move away from your brand. You want to identify the people based on their behavior of who has consumed the most content. And when you can do that, you can craft more nuanced messages towards these people. And one example of this, which we will talk about a little bit later on, is people who consume long form content, such as this video or a podcast, are more likely to become a customer than people that consume short content. So if you can identify who consumes your podcasts and who listens to every podcast you record, or who watches every long form video you record, you can come out with special offers for these people, and they're much more likely to buy than someone that does not. That is another important point of behavior-based segmentation. Okay, so the fourth one is you can segment your list based on the products that people have bought in the past. Let's say you have product A, product B, product C. People that buy product A can be tagged accordingly. People that buy product B can be tagged accordingly. People that buy product C can be tagged accordingly. Now, why would you need to do this? In many cases, depending on your business, this could be a super valuable way to segment your list for future sales. For other businesses, it may not be worth it at all. An example of when it may not be worth it is if you're selling physical products. You have different physical products. Does it matter if someone buys product A from you? Does buying product A increase the likelihood of buying product B? Might not be worth it. But if you're selling a service-based offer or digital training, or you have an online business, then it does become pretty important, because often you would start by having one service. Just as an example, maybe you have one service. You offer a service to clients, and then you might write a book based on the service that you offer. So with me, for example, I'm currently offering a done for you. We'll manage all of your email marketing and all your social media marketing, and we'll help you build various systems in your business, etc. And I've recently written a book on how to do email marketing. Then you might also create a series of other products as intermediaries to help people get a result. And this would start, you would start by your service first, and you would essentially work backwards to try to capture people earlier and earlier in their journey towards getting a result. So in this case, with me, let's say product A is my book. And let's say product B might be a $1,000 a month kind of coaching program, as an example. And product C might be a $3,000 to $7,000 a month done for you service. In this case, tagging people based on the products they've purchased would allow me to craft suitable messages in order to fill spots of my higher priced offers. So I would want to know people that have bought my book and people that haven't bought the book. Because if someone's bought the book, it would be easier to get them into the $1,000 a month coaching program or into the $3,000 to $7,000 a month done for you service. Taking a step further, people who are already paying you $1,000 a month in your coaching program, where it's done with you, you show them what to do, you teach them, you coach them, you hold them accountable, they are more likely to invest in your higher priced offer afterwards. This allows you to craft a upsell path. It allows you to identify areas of your business where you can have an upsell and you're more likely to fill your spots. Another reason why you would want to do this is another reason why you would want to tag people and segment your list based on the products that they have bought in the past is someone has bought product A. Someone has paid full price for product A. You decide to offer a flash sale. Product A is now 50% off. Do you want to send your flash sale offering a 50% discount to someone who has just bought the product at full price a week before? No, of course not, because it's just going to cause problems and complications. When you can tag your list based on this, it allows you to avoid selling products at a discount to people who paid full price. Okay, number 5. The fifth way to segment your list is based on engagement. So this would be, you would first look at the email metrics that you have, and you can identify who clicks on your list the most, who buys from you the most, and who does not. You can then segment your list so you send more emails and more content to people who are more engaged, and less emails and less content to people who are less engaged. Why would you want to do this? This is, first reason is you're more likely to sell to someone who is engaged than someone who is not engaged. Therefore, it makes sense to send more emails to them. The second reason is about deliverability. If you have a certain number of people report you as spam and they don't like receiving your emails, this can be for a number of reasons. Many of them are outside your control. It affects the way that your emails will be delivered in the future. If you have a high spam rate, fewer emails will end up in the primary inbox and more will end up in the spam or promotions tab in a Gmail account. That's just the way that things are. So the people who are more likely to report you as spam or to cause problems for your deliverability in the future, and also to become problem subscribers and trolls and everything, are the people who are not as engaged. So compare two people. Person A clicks 10 links in a month to your blogs, podcast, videos, suggests that they like your brand, they like what you do, they like your ideas. Person B is they don't click any links. Who do you want to send more content to? Well, obviously it's person A. And when you can segment based on this and you can actually identify the people who are not engaged, people on your list that don't open, that don't click any links, you probably want to remove them from your list. These might be people that signed up using a disposable email address, using a fake email address, They might be people that just don't want to open your emails because they don't care. Why do you want to send emails to them if I'm not opening them? It just makes you, it just skewers your entire data in a negative way. If you have, I mean, just for a simple analogy with simple math, you've got 100 people on your list, your 20 people never open an email and never click a link, and let's say 8 people on your list click everything that you have. So when you have 100 people and 20% don't open anything, you have an 8% click-through rate. Again, this is not realistic, this is just numbers. If you remove the 20% and you have a email list with just 80 people and 8 people click the link, you have a 10% click-through rate. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is you have removed the dead weight on the list. You have removed the people that don't click a link, that are probably fake emails and that have absolutely no value to you, but you've increased your click-through rate from 8% to 10%. Now, why is this an advantage? Well, obviously, if you're providing a service to a client, this is an advantage because the metrics are higher. You are providing a more accurate representation of what their metrics are, and it's higher than you think, making it easier for you to achieve your targets and goals. Another reason is because, back to deliverability, when it comes to your emails hitting the primary promotions or spam, all of these factors play into it. And I don't know how, but when you have artificial intelligence and all of that stuff now, you're naive to think that these things don't play into it. So you want to use all of these tiny little things to your advantage, and segmenting your list based on engagement allows you to do just that. And finally, the last one is the 80-20 of sales and marketing. So I first heard this concept from Perry Marshall, and I signed up for one of his programs, which was all about the 80-20 of sales and marketing, as you'd expect. And it was using the 80-20 principle to identify the areas of your business which give you the most leverage. So if you're not familiar, the 80-20 is you get 80% of your results from 20% of the input or effort, and 80% of the effort and input gives 20% of the results. So when you can identify the 20% that gives you the 80%, that makes sense to focus your time, energy, effort, and resources there because it's going to give you a maximum output. So when you take this principle a step further, so we start off where 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. If you take this the next step further, you can have 96% of your results will come from 4% of the effort. And another step further, 99% of the results from 1%. If you have a big enough email list and you serve a lot of customers and clients and you have a lot of offers, you'll find that the second and third tier of this come into play. So it's your job to identify the 1% of your prospects on your email list, or the 1% of people that serve, that will generate 99% of your revenue. Now, this ratio doesn't exactly play out perfectly like this, but it stands to reason that if you offer a really high priced offer and you have a large enough list, that some people are going to sign up for it. Likewise, this ratio here of the 1% of people that'll give 99% of a benefit and results and revenue and whatever it is, also applies when it comes to resources that you need to invest in order to serve the client, time from your team, which you have to pay your team in order to perform a service, and the people who are actually most likely to pay for it. There's a lot of different factors that come into it. But when you can identify it, and you can identify about 1%, that'll give you the 99%, makes sense to focus on these rather than focusing on the people that are less likely to do it. Right? That kind of makes sense. So here are some ideas on where the 80-20 of your sales and marketing and the 80-20 of your list segmentation. So the first is using an example from what I used above. I once worked with a client who had 2 offers. One was a certification, one was a diploma. The certification was specifically for people who wanted to become a teacher. The diploma was for existing teachers with experience. Therefore, if you can get people to join the certification first, you can turn them into a teacher, you can get them experience, and then you offer the diploma to them as an upsell. They are more likely to buy the diploma than someone who is on your list but has not bought from you in the past. If you can identify the people here, you can introduce your own upsell path like this, and this generates sales easier. The concept here is you have to identify which people are in a position where they're more likely to buy your next offer and focus your attention here. So just for an example, just to put this into context with some numbers, the target with this client was to get 20% of people that join their certification to become a teacher to upsell into their diploma, which is for existing teachers. So 1 in 5 people is what their target was. Compare this to the people on their email list, and the current click-through rates that we're getting with this particular list is about 0.5. And the number of booked calls that we're getting per email, maybe 1 in 200 people on the list and booking a call at the moment, which, 1 in 200 people on the list book a call compared to 1 in 5 who are potentially going to book a call to upgrade to this particular offer. It makes sense to focus more of your time, energy, effort, and resources when your target is 1 in 5 compared to 1 in 200. The next is people who have bought everything that you have are more likely to buy the next thing that you have to offer. Simple as that. If you have 5 products and someone's bought all 5, they're probably going to buy number 6 when it comes out. So what you want to do is identify the people that have bought everything, and then before you do a launch and you sell to everyone else on your list, if it's a new product, you can sell to the people that have bought everything, and then you can get testimonials, and then you can use those testimonials as leverage to get more people to buy in the future. The next one is people that have the highest lifetime value to your company. Now, this might sound like it contradicts what I've said before, but there might be people on your email list and that are associated with your business that they might only have bought 1 product from you, but their lifetime value might be significantly higher than someone has bought everything. What do I mean by this? Lifetime value is how much they are worth to your company. An example is, let's say you're an email marketer and you work with a client who pays you $10,000 a month to manage their emails, and you work with this client for 12 months. The lifetime value of that client would be 10,000 times 12, which is 120,000 per year. If you stay with that contract for 5 years, the lifetime value is $600,000. Compare this to someone that might buy your $4.99 book and your video training program, and they've never bought anything else. Their value is $4.99 for the book plus $45 for the video training program, so they're worth $50. So if you wanted to offer another service, who's the best person to offer it to? The person that has a higher lifetime value. This is another way that you can segment your list based on all of these nuances. And the next one, and I'm going to finish it with here because we're going on a bit too long, is what I've mentioned before, is that people who consume long form content are more likely to buy from you than people that consume short form content. So if you have a podcast and you can identify who listens to your podcast when you're every week, if you want to offer a service, offer it to them first compared to the rest of your list. So finally, let's conclude this presentation by focusing on how all of this fits into what I teach with Freedom with Marketing, and that is all about leverage and how you can get the absolute maximum output for the minimum input. And that would be the way to apply this would simply be that if you want to segment your list, I would probably get someone else to do it for you. If you have multiple list segments and you want to send multiple types of emails, it adds up pretty quickly. If you wanted to send a daily email, which I strongly suggest, That would be 30 emails for people on one list segment, but it might also be 30 emails for people on another list segment. This would be in the context of people that, back to the certification example, because it's the easiest one that I can think of. The certification is for people who want to become teachers. The diploma is for people who are already teachers with experience. You would probably need to have different daily emails for different list segments in this case, because if you want to teach about things that would be useful and relevant to people who are already teachers, it might be a bit too technical and over the heads and not valuable or enticing enough for people who want to become a teacher, and vice versa. So in that scenario, it kind of doubles your output. So what I would suggest is you can just get someone else to do it. That might be my company and my services, and you can find out how to contact me in the below. Or it might be to get someone else to do it for you, or to train your team to do it on your behalf. But when you can deploy a email marketing strategy and you can send nuanced messages to specific people at the right time, you're going to generate significantly more sales than sort of having a shotgun approach and trying to please everyone at once. That's all for today. See you in the next video.